So I'm gonna write the word Noor, which is light for Arabic. So here it goes. So I've started with writing noon and then wow and then finished with ra. And so obviously every word I write for Noor is going to be different. That's the challenge with calligraphy. It takes a lot of practice to get it right. But the sound the kalam makes is really what is very interesting. And so this is a kalam I cut myself with the help of the teacher when I went on the course. And for me, what was really challenging is the fact that because I'm left-handed, and the kalam is cut for a right hand, really, for a right-handed person, I think. It took me a while to get used to it. But also, in general, it takes time to tame your kalam. So when you cut your kalam at the beginning, it's very sort of, I'd say, wild. So the whole process of learning involves getting to know your kalam and taming it, which I managed to do after a while. So I can see here there is a little bit too much bleeding of ink. So maybe the ink is a little bit too, it's too much of it. So let me start again.
So can you take us through, while you're doing this, the process that led you? Because there's a very personal connection for you with the Arabic alphabet, and in fact, getting involved in Arabic calligraphy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in one of our sessions, you asked me to do a task which consisted in me trying to do some calligraphy, which I said I wanted to do for a long time, but somehow didn't feel brave enough in a way, because it felt like quite a daunting thing to attack or get into. Mm-hmm. But doing it as part of our sessions, it felt like I had, it was the right time for me to get into it. And it was quite amazing, actually, because as soon as I started tracing the letters of the alphabet, something happened in my body. It was a very physical experience in terms of feeling, first of all, using my left hand to trace. So from writing from right to left felt like a natural process for me as left-handed. But also it suddenly felt as if the Arabic language, which was a language I learned with my grandmother when I was very small, so for the first 5 years of me spending time in Algeria with my family, my grandmother spoke to me Arabic every day and during those summers, and I began to speak Arabic, but then forgot about it completely as I was growing up. And so starting to, with the letters, somehow brought me immediately back to that old feeling I thought I had completely lost, and this connection I had with that language, although it always felt very familiar to me. And it was the Arabic sounds were also very familiar to me. So it was this very strange situation of unfamiliarity in a way. And so as soon as I started tracing the letters, it's as if there was this feeling that Arabic as a language that was always at the back, physically at the back of my body or at the back of my memory, moved forward alongside English, which for me is in my hand. So English stayed in my right hand and Arabic moved into my left hand, which is where it should be, really. I felt. So everything kind of felt into place.
Amazing, yeah.
And since then, I was lucky enough to find a short course after our sessions at the King's Foundation School of Traditional Arts with a brilliant calligrapher and artist, Soraya Sayed. And during that week, I was initiated into the practices, materials, and fundamentals of Islamic calligraphy.
Okay.
And that's where I did this beautiful piece, which is the reed pen or the kalam that I was describing, and which is really, really very important to any to a calligrapher. So a calligrapher has a very personal relationship to their kalam, and it's really like I felt almost as if it was a newborn. It was such a, such a powerful connection for me to be able to bring the kalam to life or to light, and also to bring my practice to life. And especially interesting was this process of taming it, which I felt at the beginning I just couldn't find the right angle. It was very difficult for me to find it and to start writing. Yeah. But then suddenly things fell into place and it started listening to me. Okay. So that was really
very
nice.
Deep sort of into nearly somatic, nearly the kalam is nearly an extension of your hand and of an inner being already, isn't it? Yeah. So this reorganization of your writing body I found really fascinating. Tell me what it does to your thinking around your practice as well.
So I'm going to write the letter Alif in the Rika script. And in the Rika script, the Alif is, the height of the Alif is supposed to be 3 nuktas. So nuktas are measurements points that one uses to measure the dimension of each letter, and it's sort of used as an orientation point. So this is not part of the letter, but to start with, it's useful to make sure that one has the right height. This is maybe a little bit, this is not a very good example, but so the nuktas will come here. And so what should happen, I'll try again, sorry. Needs to be a little bit to the left, like this. And then there should be like if one looks at so it should be something like this, and then this is the lower part, and this is where the nuktas should be. So in the Greek alphabet, the nuktas are actually half of the full nukta point, but that's not really relevant because it's all relative to the script.
Tell me a little bit what it's doing to your familial project, this nearly reclaiming of a writing system for you and with your family, I suppose. So take me through it a little bit because of that silence you described initially.
Yes, so I'm talking to my mother about this journey, and she's delighted. And we have conversations about various things. She checks my letters sometimes. I ask her.
Do you speak in Arabic?
I don't speak Arabic to her, no. But she helps me with the pronunciation of the letters. We even did a sessions together this summer. This is not going in the right direction, but never mind. And I'm rediscovering her knowledge of Arabic as well. And it for her is actually also interesting because she, although she is bilingual, she's not been using Arabic for a very long time. So sometimes she hesitates herself as
bilingual
to...
with what?
French,
Okay.
French Arabic.
Yeah, okay.
So for her it's also a rediscovery of this language and this culture she left behind her when she moved to Croatia with my father. So I'm half Croatian, half Algerian.
Okay.
And yes, I can see sometimes her insecurities come out. And that's very moving because I had this image in my head of her being like a perfect Arabic speaker, and I would never be able to attain that because it's just not, because it's so difficult. But now I see sometimes she's not sure herself, although her knowledge is very good, there is no doubt about that. And I'm only a beginner, but I feel more of an equal now to her.
Okay.
And it's just, in terms of my practice,
yeah,
I've completely got fascinated, first of all, with reading about the history of calligraphy,
yeah,
the history of Islamic art. For example, this great tradition of geometric pattern, Islamic geometric patterns, and what we as Western civilization have inherited from that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just completely stepped into that world now. And through that, I've also gotten really interested in Iranian culture as well, and in Iranian artists. So it has really enriched my practice culturally, and the frame of reference I'm now using is so much more multicultural than it was before.
Yes.
And it really does enrich everything I write.